This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We begin with the latest on the COVID-19 case counts here in the territory. The latest numbers from the Virgin Islands Department of Health show there are 58 active cases throughout the VI. There are currently 28 cases in St. Croix, 29 in St. Thomas, and just 1 in St. John. Well, in the midst of this huge push we're seeing to get people vaccinated, we're learning many are choosing to skip out on that second dose. Brady Trapnell spoke with experts about why this is happening and what it could mean for the rollout moving forward.
Keeping up with first and second dose appointments is hard enough. Now add in the fact that many aren't showing up.
What we know is we're going to have a percentage of the population that is going to be half or partially vaccinated.
Dr. Joshua YHAU Health's vaccine coordinator says about 5% of their patients aren't coming back for the second dose. That's about 2,000 people.
Certainly in where we want to be, but I am happy that it's not 15% or 20%.
Elsewhere, the number seems to hover around the same. For instance, in Tennessee, statewide, it's about 4%, and a nationwide CDC study found it's around 3.5% or 4 million people.
Getting people vaccinated with that first vaccine is really important because it gets us some level of protection, somewhere in that 50 to 70% with Pfizer and Moderna.
But 50 to 70% isn't enough. Health officials say those numbers put herd immunity in jeopardy.
For every individual that is not vaccinated, it ultimately puts the risk of transmission higher to others.
This as AU is seeing their vaccination clinics slow down, but not for long. With Georgia opening vaccinations to everyone, clinics are expected to fill up quicker.
And Moderna and Pfizer are the vaccines that many people are getting here in the VI, and health department leaders here encourage people to make sure they get that second shot. Well, as more travelers flock to Puerto Rico for spring break, there are concerns about rising coronavirus cases numbers there, especially as new video surfaces showing large groups of maskless partiers. Our Elenis Quinones reports.
Please do not leave your vehicle unattended.
A number of controversies took place this month due to a new record of travelers arriving on the island, including multiple tourists not complying with COVID-19 protocols. The situation had the hotel industry and other tourism areas preparing to the best of their ability for sudden situations that could occur. This past spring break weekend, a video became viral on social media in which a considerable amount of people without mask or social distancing can be seen having fun dancing and drinking in what was reported by users to be Cayo Caracoles in Lajas, a municipality located in the southwestern region of Puerto Rico. No police were initially reported on the scene, nor the health department spoke about it. The only expressions given were a day later by the area commander of the Mayagüez police, who assured that the place was in complete order, contrary to the images disseminated on social networks. He even highlighted that Puerto Rico's Joint Forces of Rapid Action was in the area all day long and they had pictures to prove it. This happens in a scenario where the island is reporting a new surge of COVID-19 cases, because of which experts from the Citizens Task Force point out that it could mean that Puerto Rico would be reporting twice as many cases in 2 weeks. Reporting from Puerto Rico, Elenis Quinones.
In more travel-related news, it seems health experts are also concerned as pandemic-era air travel numbers continue to soar. Melissa Rainey has the latest.
A record-setting weekend for air travel during the pandemic. Saturday marked the 24th consecutive day that more than 1 million passengers were screened at U.S. airports, according to data from the TSA.
People are just probably tired of being at home. You get tired after a certain point.
Some flyers attributing COVID-19 fatigue and an increase in vaccine doses administered to the soaring travel numbers.
Maybe the vaccine, people are starting to feel a little like they can go back out again.
Top U.S. health officials say vaccination is the solution to COVID-19 fatigue.
This is not going to last forever, because every day that you get 4 million, 3 million people vaccinated, you get closer and closer to control.
In an Easter video message, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden encouraging Americans to do their part to help get things back to normal.
We share the sentiments of Pope Francis, who has said that getting vaccinated is a moral obligation.
As vaccinations and the virus compete, some states lift restrictions as variants continue to spread. Some health experts fear another surge in the U.S.
At this time, we really are in a Category 5 hurricane status with regard to the rest of the world. At this point, we will see in the next 2 weeks the highest number of cases reported globally since the beginning of the pandemic. In terms of the United States, we're just at the beginning of this surge. We haven't even really begun to see it yet.
I'm Melissa Rainey reporting.
Well, your days of working from home may be numbered. With the widespread availability of COVID-19 vaccines, some companies are ramping up plans for employees to return to work in person. Google, for example, is telling its workers that it's accelerating plans to get back into the office ahead of a September 1st deadline, with former presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg telling his employees he expects them in the office as soon as they're vaccinated. A survey by the Pew Research Center finds more than half of employees, vaccinated or not, prefer to continue to work from home even after the pandemic subsides. Well, a warning for college students and staff today. The IRS reports scammers are continuing to target people with a .edu email address, sending emails which look very much like they're from the IRS with the agency's logo, but they're actually not. So the subject lines include tax refund payment. The email then asks people to submit a form to claim their refund, sharing information like your name and social security number, but simply do not do it. If you're looking for a refund, you can always check the status yourself with the Where's My Refund tool, which is located on irs.gov. So a heads up there. Well, Sunday marked 53 years since a fatal shot rang out in Memphis, Tennessee, killing civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And over the weekend, the Atlanta church where Dr. King served as pastor remembered his life's work during an Easter service. Take a look.
Senator Raphael Warnock recalled Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy Sunday on the 53rd anniversary of his assassination.
Although he transitioned on this day 53 years ago, he had the courage to face death because he understood, as we do, that death does not have the last word. Sickness does not have the last word. Oppression does not have the last word. Racism and bigotry will never have the last word.
In an Easter morning service at Atlanta's Ebenezer Baptist Church, the faithful gathered to celebrate and recall the life of its former pastor, the Reverend King. An assassin's bullet killed the 39-year-old civil rights leader in 1968 on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. King was in the city helping striking sanitation workers rally for better wages and working conditions. The day before, King had given his final sermon, saying he has been to the mountaintop and seen the promised land.
Suspected gunman James Earl Ray pled guilty to assassinating King, but then spent the rest of his life claiming he had been the victim of a setup.